Hi everybody, welcome back. Okay, right from the outset, I'm issuing you a warning. This is not a nice video. It is not a kind video. It is a straight talking, hard hitting video. I want you to remember that although I live in a country which was once a British colony and still part of the Commonwealth, although my father was of Scottish descent, and I still have a handful of family and friends in England. Despite all of this, I am still an outsider looking in. However, being an outsider, I get to hear from people who are also outsiders. I hear from people in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, yeah, even from Jamaica, South Africa, and many countries like India, Spain, Mexico, etc. So, along with what I hear from South Africans firsthand, I am in a reasonably good position to give you a very honest report on how the average Joe and Susies in these countries actually see the monarchy and the members of the royal family. Among my closer associates are people who believe that the royals could very well be lizard type shape shifting aliens. I know a couple who are staunch Republicans, not my king, yellow board waving staunch. And then I have associates who feverishly love every single member of the royal family, some who hate Harry and Meghan, and some who side with them. For me, it is a slippery slope to negotiate and not totally offend anyone. I do disagree with most of my associates and a handful of friends more often than not, but I try not to offend because these debates and discussions are often where my videos originate from. These discussions are what keeps my content fresh, and today I'm going to share and discuss one such discussion with you because, strangely enough, and by pure coincidence, I was going to talk about the subject anyway. I was just trying to word it in such a way that I do not offend anyone, as quite frankly, the last thing I can afford right now is to lose 100 or 200 subscribers. But after our discussion via DM, I thought, what the heck? Why should I keep quiet about what I hear, what I read, what I think, and what I feel? Why? If the shoe fits, they say. And if you are the type of person who is offended when someone talks about your idol or someone who prefers to walk with his or her head in the clouds, not noticing what's going on in the ground, then I'm so sorry, but you are not going to like this video. To start off, I want to read to you a passage or two from Valentine Lowe's book Courtiers. On page 54, Charles suddenly appeared and threw something at Colburn. It was Diana's wedding ring. Page 55. Charles exploded at Colburn for spending more time looking after Diana than him. The prince spent 15 minutes pacing around the cabin, kicking the furniture and shouting at Colburn. Page upon page upon page deals with how King Charles treated his staff, his jealousies, his tantrums, and his disloyalty to staff who served him with devotion and vigor. The Making of a King by Tom Bauer deals with the exact same matters, just in a different light and angle. But in both books, the competition between Charles, his office and PR, and that of the Queen's office in Buckingham Palace and their PR. I do not even know how to begin to sum it up. Courtier after courtier, private secretary after private secretary, after press officer, and the internal backstabbing, along with Charles's demands, would become too much for them eventually. One thing Harry did not lie about was how the officers of the Queen and the Prince of Wales competed and actually briefed against one another. Clarence House became a very toxic environment, quite the opposite of the households of the Queen and the Queen Mother. So, like it or not, what Harry is doing, acting and briefing against his father and brother, is absolutely nothing new. And I'm no longer going to hesitate to say it. But Harry learned from the best. And that includes the victimhood narrative and sad sack expressions in both books. His father's poor me and droopy, lined facial expression when he had to admit to his affair is disgust. Now, I'm not even going to go into this much further, except to say that both Charles and Harry have an issue with accepting responsibility for anything. It's never their fault. It is always someone else's fault. And there is a list of incidents which I can give as proof. I just don't wish to do so today because ultimately this is not what the video is about today. Today is not a bash Charles day. It is about whether the monarchy is worth saving or not, what makes it worth saving or not, what will it take to save the monarchy and why. And what I'm saying is 100% based on how the monarchy is being perceived lately and why. This is not just bookworm's opinion, but a variety of opinions from different people, different countries, and different walks of life. It is inevitable that when we talk about Harry, we will talk about his father, who just so happens to be the King of England. But what many people and the mainstream media often seem to forget is that Charles has another son, and his name is William. William, who met a girl, a good girl, who took his time deciding to marry this girl or not, because he knew what he was dragging her into. Their liaison, however, brought forth three beautiful, normal children whom we cherish and love, almost as if we were related to them. Together they matured, and Catherine respectfully and dutifully grew into her role. I have a feeling their household is a fairly normal one, with the odd argument between the parents and the kid who can sometimes get a little rough and tumble. But in all the years that they have been married, there may have been an eyebrow raise or two, but no major scandal. And we are talking about nearly 13 years of marriage. Well, because of my interest in the royal family and doing what I'm doing, it is also inevitable that at some point I'll receive some insider information or gossip. And although not so much lately, I did get quite a bit in 2020 and 2021, or then in the year or two after Meghan and Harry left. And I can tell you that the act of them leaving caused a lot of disagreement and disturbance. A lot. Neither the Queen and Charles nor William and Charles could agree on how to handle the situation. And that is exactly why the Queen decided to give Harry and Meghan a year and a review after a year. Now, we all know what Harry and Meghan got up to. The numerous interviews, the accusations of racism and abuse. Yes, the situation Meghan described where her keys and passport was taken and she could not leave the house for 5 months. Well, although we know and can prove that she lied, what she described was abuse. Remember Pa cutting Harry off straight away? How London triggered Harry? Oh, my friends, the list goes on and on and on. I think someone on Instagram compiled a list of Harry and Meghan's lies since moving to the United States, and another one compiled a list of their lies before they moved to the United States. And you can stand on your head and whistle Dixie, but according to the current laws of Britain, whereby treason does not carry a death sentence anymore, Harry still committed treason against king and country. And not just once, but over and over and over. And to make matters even worse, then he still goes out in the world and insists in a British court that he be addressed by his styling of His Royal Highness. He still goes out and insists that him and his wife be addressed as Duke and Duchess, firmly confirming his link to the royal family. And then as a result, he also often gets treated like royalty in America by people with their own agenda, obviously. So for 4 years now, the loyal son with the loyal wife with the loyal British born, bred and registered children had to sit back and listen to himself and his wife, and to maybe a lesser extent his children, be ridiculed, be slandered over and over and over again. And just because he is royal, he is not supposed to fight back, or then never complain, never explain. Now, in whose book is that fair? This morning I said to a friend that I'm not asking for anything. It just helps to have someone to talk to. Now think of someone like William. Who does he trust enough to talk to? Who does he talk to get relief if his own brother calls him by a derogatory name throughout a 400 plus page book? Has no qualms about discussing his private body parts, etc., etc. Had it been you or me, we would likely have done more than just push the feeble-minded traitor into a dog bowl. I'm telling you, after I was done with him, he may have been plucking some of his teeth out of his own butt. But, William can't do that. He can't even say what I just said. And to add insult to injury, William has to live under the constant threat of Weasel number one and Weasel number two coming back and weaseling their way back into the monarchy because of their titles. Now, how does this work? Someone kicks you in the shin every darn day for 4 years, and you are never allowed to do anything in return? We are not the only ones who had been pleading with the king to cut all ties between Harry and the monarchy. Not between him and his son, but between the monarchy or the firm and Harry. Parliament tried to make it easier for him, for the king, to strip his son. But he went and fought against it. But, at the same time, King Charles, in doing that, obviously showed that he preferred to slap down his royal son in favor of the runaway traitor. He preferred to turn a deaf ear to us and to his government. But like I said so many times before, in doing so, in not cutting Harry out like a cancer, the king is allowing for all the air and life to be sucked out of the monarchy. Here is my honest feelings. if or when Harry and Meghan are no longer a prince and a princess, no longer a duke or a duchess, no longer an earl or countess, and Harry no longer in the line of succession, I honestly will not care what she wears, where they go, what movie premiere, what concert they go to. Really, neither of them are really attractive and neither of them are doing anything remarkable. So why should we be interested in the two grifters if and when they are no longer royals? I can't see any reason. Meghan can again go make Hallmark movies and Harry can become the house man. He can stay home and watch the kids, play PlayStation all day if he wants to. We all want King Charles III to protect the monarchy against Meghan and Harry's onslaught. But what about protecting William and his family? Remember the loyal son? The only friend, the only backup William truly has is his wife, the mother of his children, the one who stood by his side as his wife for 13 years and for many years prior. This is the kind of loyalty and support William has not received from anyone else since his grandmother died. Future king, prince, millions upon millions of pounds strong, yet Catherine and the children are all William as a man and a human being really has. So I certainly do not blame him for taking the time out to be with her and his children. I 100% don't. That is his spine. It is his heart and his blood. However, although none of us know what exactly ailed Catherine, and like any normal person, I have speculated behind the scenes about what it could be, but I'm not going to do it on here, obviously. I think we will be told eventually, but for now, Catherine is fully entitled to her privacy. But let's pause for a moment. Although we don't know what is wrong with Catherine, we do know that 10 to 14 days in hospital is rather long, and I'm sure that is because the doctors are being cautious to the point of being overcautious. And I'm 100% sure that if Catherine is not stable or healthy enough on day 14, they still won't let her out of hospital. Once she is out of hospital, though, she has a nanny and a contingent of staff she can draw on to help with various things, and her parents are not too far away either from Adelaide Cottage. So when it was announced that William is taking off to be with his wife and children, did he actually say for how long? No, he didn't. Look, I'm sure he's doing things, actual work, like paperwork and phone calls from home. But for how long did he cancel his engagements? I have a feeling in my gut that all is not as it seems. Yes, William is making his family his priority, but he can afford to have a full-time doctor and nurse look after his wife if he needs to take off for a day, and then grandma and grandpa are there as well. So what is really going on? Firstly, Catherine had her surgery more than a week ahead of King Charles's scheduled procedure. So why did he announce it a couple of hours after Catherine's hospitalization was announced? He could have waited 2 days, 3 days, even almost a week. So why didn't he? Jealousy? Jealous of the attention Catherine's illness is attracting, the headlines, the newspaper columns that it is attracting? I mean, it is not normal royal procedure to cram this kind of news in like this. This thus sounds exactly like previous actions described in Courtiers and the Making of a King. Has William finally had enough of what the person I was talking to called Charles's passive aggressive attacks on William? And then she also asks, did he withdraw himself and his family from the public and duties in order to get King Charles to realize precisely who or what he and his relentless PR shenanigans were harming? And I would add, to show King Charles that the time has come to choose between his loyal son and his traitorous son. I have joked ages ago and said if I was William, I would have put my father to a choice: either knock my brother out of the line of succession or I walk. It is him or me. So is this, in a way, maybe in a temporary, short-term basis, what William has now done? Did he use the opportunity presented by Catherine's surgery to do so? In a way, I hope so. I hope he has put his foot down. In light of Harry and Meghan's visit to Jamaica, which I think was nothing more nor anything less than a middle finger to the monarchy, I think it is the right time to tell you that, as far as I can see, their shenanigans are not putting King Charles in a good light. Like a typical South African farm boy once said the other day, talking about Harry, as ek sy pa was, het ek hom lankal 'n snotklap gegee, which means if I was his father, I would have slapped him a long time ago. You see, all the royal reporters can argue until they are blue in the face, but the fact that the king is not acting against Harry and Meghan is making him look weak, and people are laughing at him. Head of state, but he can't sort out his own family. So people can come up with all the excuses in the entire world. None of them actually wash. Never complain, never explain, does not apply to a traitor to his king and country. At this point, it is my opinion that if King Charles cannot bring himself to strip Harry, Parliament should intervene. After all, Harry is an embarrassment to his country as well. People are truly smirking about the two grifters leading the monarchy by the nose. So it is time to end it before the monarchy comes to a brutal end. King Charles III is one of the most powerful men in the entire world, yet he can't control his dimwit son? Really? It does not make sense to me. So how can we expect it to make sense to his bright, loyal son and daughter-in-law? Anyway, I truly wish William and Catherine well. I hope Catherine will be well in no time and as good as new. And as soon as she is well, I personally will support them in whatever they decide. Loyalty should come from both sides, and William's family should remain his first priority. Remember the prophecy we all laughed at? The one which said something like the next king will be a man who never expected to be king, or something like that? Well, the way things are going, I can actually see this happening now. So let's wait and see. But let's also use our common sense and not just believe everything we read. Okay, guys and girls, now that was a rather long video, and believe me, I've got 101 more things to actually add to it. But for now, this is enough, and we will meet again on the next one. So until then, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.